Bardstown investigators still need help solving an officer's murder. Ahead, the latest on the case and the reward amount.
And it looks like we'll be tracking more wintry weather as we head through the evening hours and overnight, especially out in eastern Kentucky. A winter weather advisory has been issued. I'll have the latest for you.
And the Cats' first two SEC games went to overtime tonight. The nation's top team puts its undefeated streak on the line at Rupp Arena. We'll get you ready for the Cats and the Tigers.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Freezing rain and light snow could impact parts of the Bluegrass State. Southeastern Kentucky is under a winter weather advisory for tonight. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell is tracking the threat on First Alert Defender. Jim?
And right now, Jennifer, it's pretty quiet out there. What we're expecting is a little more moisture to start to grow through the area, and that will be where we start to run into some problems for later on tonight. Our temperatures are certainly favorable for that because all of us are seeing the cold. 27 right now in Lexington. You've got 30 and 32 degrees, the warmest spots you're going to find out in eastern Kentucky where that advisory is currently in existence. It'll go into place at 7 o'clock and then run through at the latest expiration time, noon tomorrow. There you see Defender. I mean, it's pretty calm, but moisture starts to creep in a little bit more toward the south and east, and as it does, that's when we'll get in on some of that wintry weather activity. Here's what we have with that winter weather advisory. You can see the little corner of the state included. This stretches all the way out for the folks there in McCreary County and then back toward Barton County, right along the Kentucky-West Virginia state line, mainly for snow, but initially we could run into a period of some freezing rain or some freezing drizzle, something we'll be tracking for you all evening long, and we'll take you hour by hour with it coming up here in just a few minutes.
This May marks the 2-year anniversary of the murder of a Central Kentucky police officer. And today, investigators made another plea for information to help them find the killer. Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis was shot and killed in the line of duty in May 2013. Investigators say they've looked at every tip and every lead in the case, but so far nothing has led to an arrest. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy has more on the search for Ellis's killer in our top story at 4.
Investigators are calling the last 19 months frustrating with still no good leads.
Each of those leads, each of those tips have resulted in the same thing. And it's brought us back to where we are now, and that's at a lack of information to move forward with a suspect or suspects.
Kentucky State Police Lieutenant Jeremy Thompson believes the location of Officer Ellis's murder and the lack of eyewitnesses and surveillance video are crucial elements keeping them from finding the people responsible for Officer Ellis's death. May 25th, 2013, Ellis was on his way home from his shift when he stopped on the exit ramp of the Bluegrass Parkway to move tree limbs off the road. Investigators say someone was near that ramp waiting and shot him when he got out of his patrol car. 19 months and hundreds of tips and interviews later, state police say they're no closer to an arrest than they were when the investigation began.
As we've progressed with the investigation and the emails have slowed, the phone calls have slowed, that doesn't mean that this has turned into a cold case, and I want everyone to understand that.
The reward for information leading to an arrest is around $185,000. In Bardstown, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
A Louisville investor has pledged $33,000 to that reward fund. The number is significant because Officer Ellis was 33 years old when he died. The investor plans to deposit the money into the reward account when an arrest is made. In other top stories at 4, 3 people from out of state are in jail in Lexington accused of forging credit cards. Police say the trio had more than 50 cards in their possession that had stolen information loaded onto them. All 3 were in court today. We'll have more on the hearings on WKYT News at 4:30. Former Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Will T. Scott officially entered the Republican race for governor today. He kicked off his campaign in Louisville with his running mate, former Menifee County Sheriff Rodney Coffey. Right now, 3 Republicans are running for governor: Scott, Agriculture Commissioner James Comer, and former Louisville Councilman Hal Heiner. We're working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A feel-good story. A Lexington family thought their cat was gone for good. Salem disappeared when the owners moved to a new home. Well, a few months passed with no sign of the cat. Now he's back with the family. The surprising way he ended up back home on WKYT News at 4:30. Help is on the way for a struggling food pantry. In November, the Jessamine County Food Pantry learned its budget had fallen to the lowest level in several years. Now volunteers with Walking with Love are trying to help the pantry stay open. What they're doing to drum up donations on WKYT News at 5:30. Doctors with UK Healthcare are talking about a new treatment for epilepsy. It involves implanting a device called a neurospace into the patient. The first person in Kentucky to receive one also joined doctors to talk today about the treatment. We'll show you how it's helping her on WKYT News coming up at 6 o'clock. That's a quick look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. The new issue of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo hits newsstands today as the people of France continue to recover from the tragic terror attack. Ryan Nobles has more on how the international community is reacting.
Less than a week after the brutal terror attack that killed 12 people, Charlie Hebdo is back. Millions of copies of the new issue in several different languages are all ready for delivery. It's one of the many symbols of France's effort to recover. That recovery includes remembering the fallen. Today, members of the NYPD visited the site of the attack in Paris. And in Israel, 4 Jewish victims were laid to rest.
4 dear people, righteous people, who loved the world.
Back in the U.S., the terror threat remains a high priority, especially after U.S. Central Command social media accounts were hacked. President Obama believes it is enough to bring both Democrats and Republicans together.
I've talked to both the Speaker as well as Mitch McConnell about this, and I think we agree that this is an area where we can work hard together.
But Republicans are concerned the White House is not doing enough.
And by the way, we have no strategy with which to degrade and defeat ISIS.
A stepped-up fight against ISIS could happen around the world. France's National Assembly is prepared to authorize more support for the international coalition battling the terror group. It is help the U.S. welcomes.
I know we are working together, and I know that that will continue.
A united front to fight terror to prevent this type of tragedy from happening again. In Washington, I'm Ryan Nobles reporting.
A French citizen was arrested in Bulgaria at its border with Turkey. He allegedly had contact with one of the brothers at the center of the attack, but it's not known if he was directly involved. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. President Barack Obama sat down with House and Senate leaders today, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. It's the first time they've gotten together since Congress reconvened last week. The president said disagreements with the Republican-led Congress should not stand in the way of working on issues such as trade and cybersecurity. After 2 tough tests, the top-ranked Wildcats are in Rupp Arena tonight. They're coming off Saturday's double overtime win at Texas A&M. WKYT's Rob Bromley is live at Wildcat Central with a preview of UK Missouri. And Rob, it's a late one tonight.
Oh, yes. Hello, Jennifer from Wildcat Central, and we are a long way from tip-off, so things really just getting going down here right now. It'll pick up as we get closer and closer to tip-off. Late game, 9 o'clock start with Missouri, and the Cats looking for answers now as they have had to go to overtime to win their last 2 games. But you know, a real bright spot for this team has been the play of freshman Devin Booker. He has just been shooting lights out in games against Texas A&M and Ole Miss. He hit 7 of 10 threes. Yesterday named the SEC Freshman of the Week.
I think he's hot, but I think he has more in the tank. I like to see him be a little hotter. I like to see him get to the line more. I like to see him drive the ball more. I think a big part of what he is, when you can shoot the ball like that, shot fakes, get to the line, draw fouls. So I think there's more in the tank.
Shooting 76% from 3 the last 5 games.
Let's get to 85.
All right, Kenny Payne calling for more late night here at Rupp Arena as Kentucky and Missouri tip off at about 9 o'clock. The game is on ESPN. Coming up, we will have much more on Devin Booker. His dad went to Missouri. So this game means a little bit extra to him tonight. And coming up at 5 o'clock, Jennifer, we will hear from Marcus Lee, get his take on just where this Kentucky team is right now, playing its third game in the SEC schedule. Come down and see us at Wildcat Central. You can get a free collectible at the Kentucky branded store, which is right next door. Jennifer, for now, that's it. From here at the Lexington Center, Wildcat Central, back to you.
Thank you, Rob. And after tonight, this weekend, it's back on the road for the Cats as they head to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. After jumping 280 points earlier today, the Dow came crashing back down, ending the day down 27 points at 17,614. An upgrade of Apple gave the market the early boost. The Nasdaq lost 3 and the S&P 5. A new study finds only 65 out of more than 3,000 counties across the country have fully bounced back from the recession. Researchers took the job market and home prices into account. The recovered counties are mostly located in energy-rich areas and have small populations. Cyber thieves want more than your credit card information. They also want your frequent flyer miles. American and United Airlines say hackers got a hold of usernames and passwords of frequent flyers and booked free trips and upgrades. But airlines say no one hacked into their systems. They say the thieves got the names and passwords somewhere else. From mirrors that dress you to shelves that practically restock themselves, many stores could soon be giving customers a better shopping experience with some cutting-edge innovations. Marley Hall shows us some of the new shopping technology.
Trying on clothes just got a little easier and a lot more high-tech.
So you can try on multiple things virtually when in reality you've only just tried on one thing. Exactly.
It's a memory mirror by Intel called the Memo Me.
It enables you to try on multiple colors and styles of a garment without having to go back into the dressing room.
With just a touch of a screen, you can also see 360 views of each color, as well as side-by-side comparisons.
The consumer can send all that information to their smartphone and then share it in social media, either be Facebook, Instagram, and get likes or votes from your friends.
Retail chain Neiman Marcus is testing the Memo Me at select locations. It's one of hundreds of new shopping innovations unveiled at this year's National Retail Federation Expo in New York City. Also on display, a digital inventory tracker called the Power Shelf.
If a shopper picks the last one up, we can actually recognize that it's out, send that information back to the retailer to fix the shelf.
The Power Shelf tracks items using a sensor mat that measures weight. And if you download the store's app, a Bluetooth-enabled beacon sends a coupon to your phone when you get close.
It's really simple.
And that means more sales for retailers and more options for shoppers. In New York, Marley Hall, CBS News.
The Power Shelf is currently in 40 Whole Foods stores across the country.